Not all traffic creates cases. Some of it just creates impressions. In this video, we're going to be covering case intent capture, stage 1 of the Retained-Client SEO framework, and exactly how personal injury firms attract searches that actually turn into retained cases. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jesse Stewart, and I'm a paralegal and an SEO specialist. And I help personal injury firms generate more retained cases through Retained-Client SEO without the PPC dependency. This is a part of a series where I'm breaking down that exact system stage by stage. If you haven't seen the last video where I laid out all 3 stages, go check out that video after this one. It'll make everything here click even faster. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap that like button and let's get into it. All right, quick recap so we're all on the same page. Retained-Client SEO is built on 3 stages: case intent capture, authority conversion, and retained case optimization. Today, we're going all in on stage 1. Because if this stage is broken, nothing after it matters. You can have the most beautiful website in the world with 5-star reviews and a fast consultation process. But if people landing on it were never going to become clients in the first place, none of that saves you. So let's start with the core belief behind this entire stage. Because once this clicks, you'll never look at a traffic report the same way. Not all traffic creates cases. There's a massive difference between someone typing "what is a personal injury case" into Google because they're curious, and someone typing "car accident lawyer near me" because they were in a wreck yesterday and need help right now. The first person might read a paragraph and bounce. The second person is a potential retained client. Case intent capture is entirely focused on attracting the second type of person and deliberately deprioritizing the first. Here's the question I want you asking your own firm's SEO from here on out. Are we attracting potential cases, or are we just attracting visitors? Those sound familiar, but they are not the same outcome. And most legal SEO doesn't separate them at all. A blog post that ranks for "how long does a personal injury lawsuit take" might get a lot of clicks. It might also get 0 retained cases because the person reading it isn't in decision mode yet. Meanwhile, a single practice area page ranking for a truck accident attorney in your city might get a fraction of the traffic and produce the most signed cases. Volume and value are not the same thing, and case intent capture is built to chase value first. Now let's get into the actual mechanics, starting with local SEO and Google Maps. Because for personal injury firms, this is usually the single highest leverage piece of the whole stage. When someone searches with local intent, like "personal injury lawyer near me," the map pack, that block of 3 local listings with a little map next to it, captures 44% of all the clicks on that search results page. That's before organic listings even come into play. And within that map pack, position actually matters a lot. The first spot pulls around 17.8% of clicks, the second spot around 15.4%, and the third around 15.1%. But here's the number that should really get your attention. If your firm falls out of the map pack entirely and lands in the very first traditional organic spot right underneath it, your click-through rate drops all the way down to 7.2%. That's less than half of what the third map pack listing gets. So if your firm isn't showing up in the map pack, you're not just missing a little visibility, you're losing the majority of the clicks on that entire page. Getting into that map pack consistently comes down to a handful of concrete things: a fully optimized Google business profile, consistent name, address, and phone number information across the web, a steady flow of new reviews, and local citations that reinforce where your firm actually operates. None of that is glamorous. It's not exciting content marketing, but it's often the difference between a firm that gets phone calls from its own city and a firm that's invisible to the exact people searching for help right now. Next, let's talk about practice area pages, because this is where a lot of firms leave serious money on the table. Here's a mistake I see constantly. A firm has one broad personal injury page that tries to cover car accidents, truck accidents, slip and falls, wrongful death, and everything in between, all crammed into a single page, usually written like a long legal essay instead of a page built to actually convert someone. That page might rank for something generic, but it almost never ranks well for the high intent, specific searches that actually convert. And it almost never gets someone to actually pick up the phone. Case intent capture says the opposite. Build a dedicated page for each specific injury type your firm actually handles. A car accident page, a separate truck accident page, a separate brain injury page, a separate page for something like insurance bad faith. Each one built around that specific language someone would use when they're searching for that exact situation, with a clear first-person call to action. Something like get my free case evaluation, real local trust signals, and an intake form that doesn't feel like a chore to fill out. Why does that matter so much? Because someone searching truck accident attorney is signaling something very specific about their situation. And a dedicated page speaking directly to truck accidents with a fast, frictionless way to reach out is going to convert that person far better than a generic page that mentions trucking accidents in a single sentence somewhere in the middle. Let's talk about keyword tiers, because case intent capture doesn't treat every keyword the same, and neither should you. I break these down into 3 tiers. Tier 1 is high commercial intent, things like car accident lawyer plus a city name, hire a personal injury attorney, or truck accident attorney near me. These are the searches from people who are actively looking to hire someone right now, today. This is where the majority of your practice area page strategy should be focused, because this is where retained cases actually come from. Tier 2 is commercial education. Searches like settlement value for a car accident or how long does a lawsuit take. These people are further along than someone doing pure research, but they haven't necessarily decided to hire an attorney yet. This content still matters, but it plays a supporting role, not a leading one. Tier 3 is pure authority and trust building content, more educational material that helps establish your firm as a credible and knowledgeable place. It's useful for the overall site, and it can support the other 2 tiers. But if this is where the majority of your content budget is going, that's usually a sign your SEO has drifted away from case intent capture and back towards choosing traffic for traffic's sake. The question I'd ask if I were auditing your site right now would be, what percentage of your content is tier 1 versus tier 2 and tier 3 combined? If tier 1 is a small slice of the pie, that's usually the first thing worth fixing. So let's actually walk through how you'd audit your own site for this, because I don't want this just to be a concept. I want it to be something you can go do this week. Start by pulling up your site's top performing pages in whatever analytics tool you use. For each one, ask yourself, if someone landed on this exact page right now, is there a clear, obvious next step for them to hire this firm? Not buried in the menu, not 3 clicks away, right there. Next, look at the actual keywords each page is ranking for. Are they tier 1 keywords, the hire me now type searches, or are they mostly tier 2 and tier 3, informational searches that don't carry much hiring intent? A lot of firms are shocked when they actually do this exercise because their best looking traffic numbers are coming from pages that were never built to convert a case in the first place. Then looking at your practice area specifically, Does every single injury type your firm actually handles have its own dedicated page? Or are some of them just mentioning a paragraph on a general services page? If truck accidents makes up a meaningful chunk of your case volume, but there's no dedicated trucks accident page, that's a gap. And finally, check your Google business profile and your map pack presence for every city you actually serve, not just your main office location. A firm with 3 offices but only one fully optimized profile is leaving 2 out of 3 markets mostly invisible to local search. Now let's talk about what this stage deliberately avoids, because knowing what not to chase is just as important as knowing what to build. Case intent capture avoids low intent educational traffic as a primary strategy. It avoids vanity impressions and the kind of numbers that looks great in a monthly report but never turn into a phone call. And it avoids spreading content thin across dozens of generic topics instead of going deep on the specific high intent searches your ideal cases are actually using. None of that traffic is worthless exactly, but none of it should be the foundation of your SEO strategy is built on. Now, I know some of you are thinking, doesn't education content still matter? Isn't it good for a firm to have helpful articles that answers people's questions? And the honest answer is yes, it still has a place. The issue isn't the educational content is bad, is that it gets treated as a main strategy instead of a supporting one. I've seen firms with dozens of blog posts about general injury topics and almost no dedicated, well-built practice area pages targeting their actual specialties. That's backwards. Education content should exist to support your Tier 1 pages, answering the questions your ideal clients have on the way to hiring you, not replacing pages that are actually built to capture that high intent search in the first place. Think of it as a supporting cast and not a leading role. Let's talk briefly about geographic and competitive positioning, because case intent capture isn't just about which keywords you target, it's about where you're targeting them. If your firm serves multiple cities or a wider metro area, each of those locations often needs its own dedicated presence, not just one page that vaguely mentions serving the surrounding area. And it's worth actually looking at who's occupying that map pack and those top organic spots in your markets right now, because that tells you exactly what you're up against and where the real opportunity is sitting. So let's put this all together with the real before and after, because I think this is where it really clicks. A regional personal injury firm was dealing with rising client acquisition costs, and their practice area setup looked a lot like other firms out there. One generic personal injury page written like a 3,000 word legal essay, trying to cover everything from brain injuries to commercial truck accidents to insurance bad faith all at once. It technically existed, but it wasn't built to convert anybody. So they rebuilt it using exactly what we just covered. They broke that single page into targeted subpages, one for brain injuries, one for commercial truck accidents, one for insurance bad faith, and one intent mapped instead of written like a textbook, each with a clear first-person call to action, real local trust signals, and a simplified intake form. The results were dramatic. Their website conversion rate jumped from 1.8% to 6.8%, a 280% improvement. Monthly consultations went from 25 to 94 without spending an extra dollar on marketing. Their cost per lead dropped from $720 down to $191. And altogether, that shift produced an estimated $2.1 million in additional annual revenue, just from restructuring how their practice area pages captured case intent. And that's the whole point of case intent capture. It's not about getting more visitors. It's about getting the right visitors, the ones whose searches already signal they're close to hiring somebody, and giving them a page built to actually convert once they land. Everything after this stage, the website, the trust signals, the consultation process, none of it matters if the people showing up were never going to become cases to begin with. To sum it up, case intent capture is stage one of retained client SEO, and it's built around local SEO and maps visibility, dedicated practice area pages for each specific injury type, a keyword strategy weighted toward high commercial intent, and a geographic approach that treats each city your firm serves as its own target. Get this stage right, and everything downstream gets a whole lot easier. If this made sense to you, subscribe so you don't miss the next video where I'm going to go deeper into stage 2, authority conversion, and exactly how your firm turns that high intent traffic into book consultations. Hit that like button if you found this useful. Also subscribe and share. If you know an attorney or a firm owner who's pouring money into SEO without knowing whether it's actually producing cases, send them this video. Thank you, and see you in the next video.